The cold morning light crept through the thin curtains of a small terraced house in Manchester. Emily Thompson stirred, her alarm clock reading 4:15 a.m. She had learned long ago that sleep was a luxury she couldn't afford. Her mother, Margaret, lay in the adjacent room, breathing softly, unaware of the daily struggle her daughter faced. Emily's world was small but demanding. At 28, she carried the weight of her family's survival on her shoulders. Her father had passed away 5 years earlier, leaving behind a mountain of medical bills and a heart full of unfinished dreams. The factory where he worked had offered little support, and the compensation was barely enough to keep the family afloat. She moved quietly around the kitchen, preparing a simple breakfast of toast and tea. The butter was spread thin. Every penny counted. Her work uniform hung neatly by the door, crisp and clean, a testament to her pride despite the challenging circumstances. The local bakery where she worked mornings demanded perfection, and Emily was determined to prove her worth. The walk to work was always the same. Narrow streets lined with identical houses, windows still dark, the town slowly awakening. Emily's gaia. Breath created small clouds in the chilly morning air. She passed the same shops, the same faces, the same struggle etched into the landscape of this industrial town. At the bakery, Mr. Peterson, the owner, was already preparing the day's first batch of bread. He was a stern man, but fair. Emily had worked here for 3 years, starting before sunrise and working until mid-afternoon. Her hands were rough from kneading dough, mixing ingredients, and cleaning endless trays and surfaces. "Thompson, Mr." Peterson called out, "Those delivery orders won't pack themselves." Emily nodded, moving with practiced efficiency. She knew every corner of the bakery, every recipe by heart. Her second job at the community center cleaning would start in the evening, leaving her little time to rest. But rest was a luxury she couldn't afford. Her thoughts often drifted to her mother. Margaret had been a strong woman once, working as a school cleaner before illness took her strength. Now she relied completely on Emily. Medical bills, medication, and daily care consumed most of their limited income. During her short lunch break, Emily would pull out a small notebook. It was filled with careful calculations, expenses, potential savings, dreams of something better. She had been saving every spare penny, hoping to create a better life for herself and her mother. The bakery was a world of its own. Warm ovens, the smell of fresh bread, the constant movement of workers preparing for the day. Emily moved between tasks, her movements quick and precise. She packed deliveries, served customers, and cleaned surfaces, always with a quiet determination that set her apart. Her colleagues respected her. They saw the quiet strength in her eyes, the way she never complained, never asked for special treatment. Some of the younger workers would watch her, learning about hard work and dedication. As the morning progressed, Emily thought about her evening job. The community center needed thorough cleaning, and she would be there until late. Her days were long, her rest minimal, but she never showed weakness. Every job was an opportunity, every challenge a chance to prove her worth. The town around her was typical of many industrial communities, struggling, resilient, holding on to hope. Empty factories stood as reminders of better times, while people like Emily continued to push forward. She represented thousands of working-class individuals who refused to be defeated by circumstances. Her mother's medical needs were constant. Each month brought new challenges: medication, doctor's visits, unexpected expenses. Emily's life was a careful balance of work, care, and survival. She had long given up on personal dreams, focusing instead on keeping her small family together. As the bakery bustled with morning customers, Emily continued her work. Her hands moved automatically, her mind always planning, always thinking about the next task, the next bill, the next challenge. She was more than just a worker. She was a survivor, a daughter, a beacon of hope in a challenging world. The morning light grew stronger, filling the bakery with a warm glow. Another day had begun, and Emily Thompson was ready to face whatever challenges it might bring. Winter arrived with a harsh bite, bringing more than just cold to Emily's life. One grey morning, her mother Margaret collapsed in the kitchen, her frail body unable to fight the pneumonia that had been quietly growing stronger. The ambulance came quickly, its sirens cutting through the quiet street like a knife. At the hospital, Dr. Robert Williams examined Margaret carefully. His kind eyes met Emily's, revealing the seriousness of the situation. "She needs constant care," he explained, his voice gentle but firm. "The medication will be expensive, and she'll require weeks of treatment." Emily's world stopped. Her carefully constructed budget, the savings she had been building, would now crumble like a house of cards. The medical bills would be more than she could manage with her current jobs. Her hands trembled as the doctor explained the treatment plan, each word feeling like another weight added to her already heavy shoulders. The hospital corridors became her second home. She would rush from the bakery to Margaret's bedside, holding her mother's hand, talking softly about hope and recovery. Mr. Peterson at the bakery understood her situation, allowing her some flexibility with her work hours. But flexibility didn't pay the bills. At night, after her cleaning shifts, Emily would sit by the dim kitchen light, surrounded by medical forms and bills. Her calculator became her closest companion, moving numbers around, trying to find a way to make the impossible possible. She considered selling some of their furniture, cutting down on every possible expense. The local community started to notice her struggle. Mrs. Thompson from next door would bring her homemade soup, leaving it at her doorstep with a gentle note of support. The baker's wife would slip her extra bread, understanding the silent struggle Emily was facing. Dr. Williams watched Emily's determination with growing respect. He saw something special in her, a resilience that went beyond ordinary human endurance. One afternoon, after checking on Margaret, he called Emily into his office. "I might have an opportunity for you," he said, pushing a job advertisement across the desk. The local hospital was looking for an administrative assistant, someone who could manage patient records, handle communication, and support the medical team. The job offered better pay, regular hours, and most importantly, health benefits. It seemed almost too good to be true. Emily read the requirements carefully: part-time positions that could work around her current jobs, flexible hours, and a chance to learn new skills. Her hands shook as she filled out the application. Every word felt like a potential ticket to a better life. She wrote about her experience, her dedication, her ability to work under pressure. She didn't just want the job, she needed it. The waiting was the hardest part. Emily continued her routine: bakery in the morning, hospital visits. During the day, cleaning shifts in the evening. Her mother was slowly recovering, but the medical bills continued to mount. Each day felt like a battle against circumstances that seemed determined to defeat her. Weeks passed. Emily had almost given up hope when the letter arrived. A simple, envelope hospital letterhead, her name carefully typed. Her fingers trembled as she opened it, afraid to hope, yet desperate for a change. An interview invitation. The letter seemed to glow in her hands. An opportunity. A chance. Something more than the endless cycle of survival she had been trapped in. Dr. Williams had seen something in her, a potential that went beyond her current circumstances. Her mother, weak but aware, squeezed her hand when Emily shared the news. "You've always been strong," Margaret whispered, her voice barely a sound. "You'll make it, my girl." That night, for the first time in years, Emily allowed herself to dream. Not of riches or grand adventures, but of stability. Of a life where she could care for her mother without constant fear. Of a future that seemed just maybe within reach. The winter wind howled outside, but inside a small flame of hope had been lit. The evening classes became Emily's sanctuary. While other women her age were enjoying social lives, she sat in a small classroom, surrounded by textbooks and determination. Her classmates were diverse, some younger, some older, all united by a desire to improve their lives. Her studying routine was brutal. After hospital work, she would rush home, prepare a quick meal for her mother, and then dive into her books. Margaret would sit nearby, sometimes dozing, sometimes watching her daughter with quiet pride. Candlelight would often be her only companion late into the night. The course wasn't easy. Business administration required skills Emily had never encountered. Spreadsheets, financial planning, organizational management, concepts that seemed alien at first, slowly became familiar. She discovered she had a natural talent for problem solving, a skill honed by years of managing her family's survival. Her instructors noticed her potential. Mr. Richard Thompson, her primary lecturer, saw something special in Emily. "You're not just learning," he told her one evening after class. "You're transforming yourself." The other women in her class began to see her as an inspiration. Many came from similar backgrounds: working-class families, limited opportunities, constant financial struggles. Emily became an unofficial mentor, showing them that education could be a pathway to change. At the hospital, her new skills began to show. She started suggesting improvements to administrative systems, finding more efficient ways of managing patient records. Margaret Peterson noticed, giving her more responsibilities and challenging her to grow. Margaret's health continued to improve. The additional income and better medical care had transformed her. She was no longer just a patient, but an active participant in Emily's journey. Her wisdom, her support, became Emily's strongest motivation. The local community began to talk about Emily. In a town where most people accepted their circumstances, she was becoming a symbol of possibility. Young girls would watch her, seeing a different path forward. Her story spread quietly, inspiring others to dream. Dr. Williams continued to support her, occasionally offering advice or additional opportunities. He saw her as more than just an employee or a student. He saw a future leader, someone who could create real change in their community. Emily's transformation wasn't just professional, her confidence grew. The shy, overworked girl who had been juggling multiple jobs was becoming a confident professional. Her walk changed. Her speech became more assertive, her dreams more defined. Her evenings became a careful balance of study, care for her mother, and personal growth. She learned to cook better meals, to manage their home more efficiently, to plan for a future that once seemed impossible. Every small achievement felt like a victory. The business administration course was challenging. Mathematical formulas that once seemed impossible now became interesting puzzles. She discovered she had a natural ability for understanding complex systems, a skill developed through years of managing her family's survival. Her classmates began to rely on her. Group projects became opportunities for Emily to shine. Her practical experience, combined with her growing theoretical knowledge, made her an invaluable team member. She wasn't just learning, she was leading. The local women's support group started inviting her to speak. Her story became a beacon of hope for others facing similar challenges. She spoke about perseverance, about the power of education, about never accepting limitations. Margaret watched her daughter's transformation with quiet joy. The girl who had once worked multiple jobs to survive was now creating a future. Her health improved, her spirit lifted by her daughter's achievements. Dr. Williams saw the broader impact. Emily wasn't just changing her own life. She was becoming a catalyst for change in her community. Her journey represented something more significant than individual success. As the course progressed, Emily began to see herself differently. She was no longer just a survivor, but a creator of her own destiny. The limitations that had once defined her were now becoming stepping stones to something greater. Her story was just beginning. But for the first time, she was in control of the narrative. The industrial town that had once seemed like a limitation now felt like a launching pad for her dreams. 2 years passed like a transformative dream. Emily stood on the hospital stage, her graduation certificate gleaming under the soft lights. Her mother, Margaret, sat in the front row, tears of pride streaming down her weathered cheeks. The administrative role at the hospital was now a full-time position. Emily had become more than just an employee. She was a key member of the management team. Her journey from a struggling bakery worker to a respected hospital administrator seemed almost unbelievable. But Emily didn't stop there. She remembered the struggles she had faced, the countless women who had similar challenges. With Dr. Williams and Margaret Peterson's support, she started a small scholarship fund for local women seeking education. The fund wasn't massive. It began with her own savings, small contributions from supportive community members. Each scholarship was more than just financial support. It was a message of hope. Your circumstances don't define you, the application read. Your determination does. Local businesses started taking notice. Her efficiency, her innovative approach to administrative work caught attention. She was invited to speak at community events, sharing her story of transformation. Young women would listen, their eyes filled with possibility. Margaret's health continued to improve. The additional income, better medical care, and Emily's constant support had given her a new lease on life. She became Emily's strongest supporter, helping with the scholarship program, sharing her own life experiences. The scholarship fund grew. What started as a small initiative became a community movement. Local businesses began contributing, seeing the potential in supporting education for working-class women. Emily's initial idea was transforming into something much larger. Dr. Williams watched her progress with quiet satisfaction. You're not just changing your life, he told her one afternoon. You're changing the entire community's perspective. Emily understood the responsibility that came with her success. Her story spread beyond the industrial town. Local newspapers picked up her journey, from working multiple jobs to becoming a hospital administrator and community leader. She became a symbol of resilience, of the power of education and determination. The scholarship applications told powerful stories. Women from similar backgrounds, facing similar challenges, found hope through Emily's initiative. Each application was a reminder of her own journey, of the obstacles she had overcome. Emily's life was no longer about survival. It was about creating opportunities, about proving that education could be a powerful tool for transformation. Her mother's small house became a meeting point for women seeking guidance, seeking hope. The local women's support group grew around her. What started as informal meetings became structured support systems. Emily taught financial planning, shared her educational experiences, provided practical advice for women seeking to improve their lives. Her relationship with Margaret deepened. No longer just a caregiver and dependent, they became partners in their community work. Margaret's wisdom complemented Emily's energy, creating a powerful support system for local women. The hospital recognized her contributions. She was promoted to a senior administrative role, given more responsibilities, more opportunities to create change. Her innovative approaches to patient management and administrative efficiency caught national attention. Emily never forgot her roots. She continued supporting the bakery where she had worked, creating internship opportunities for young workers. Mr. Peterson, her old employer, would often speak about her with immense pride. The scholarship fund became her most significant achievement. Each year, more women found opportunities through her initiative. Education became a pathway out of limited circumstances, a bridge to new possibilities. Her story inspired a generation. Young girls in the industrial town began seeing education as a realistic dream, not just a distant possibility. Emily had become more than a success story. She had become a catalyst for community transformation. Dr. Williams often reflected on the day he recommended Emily for the hospital job. Sometimes, he would say, one opportunity can change everything. Emily's journey proved that statement true. As another year passed, Emily looked at her life with quiet satisfaction. She had transformed not just her own circumstances, but had created pathways for others. The little girl who once struggled to make ends meet was now a beacon of hope. Her mother's words echoed in her mind. You've always been strong, my girl. Now Emily was strong not just for her family, but for an entire community. A new beginning wasn't just a personal achievement. It was a promise of possibility for everyone who dared to dream.